Monday, July 15th, Dalton City Council meeting to order. Mr. Lama will lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council members, you have before you an agenda. I will remind us that we will make one amendment to the agenda for the record. Mr. Bledsoe, is that, or Mr. Pangle, does that relate to a contract?
Yes. So we had Mr. Bledsoe has more information on it, but yes, that's pertaining to an agreement for the mini pitch soccer fields agenda item. We'll need to amend it to include the new contract, the updated contract.
And the contract we will look over tonight is the accurate one. It was just when this agenda was prepared and we received those electronically.
We'll put the new one in the.
I move
Okay.
we amend the agenda as stated.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, public commentary. I do have one card, Mr. Finkel. Hi. Okay, this would be your opportunity. Okay, yes, sir. Thank you. All right. I have no other. Okay, seeing none. We'll go forward. There are no department head reports. So you have before you the mayor and council minutes of the June 17th meeting. Are there any changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept.
So move.
A motion to have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New business, item number 3. First reading ordinance 24-17, the request of Jose Eduardo Franco Alejandre to annex 0.17 acres located at 1236 Fraser Drive into the city of Dalton as medium density, single family residential R3 parcel 12-179-02-061. Ethan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The request before us is simply an annexation. This would not affect the underlying zoning of the subject property, given the unified zoning ordinance. This would simply bring the subject property from the unincorporated county into the boundary of the city of Dalton. I believe we're familiar with this area along Fraser Drive as having a number of annexations previously. This would be in alignment with those, and it is adjacent to city boundary and is part of a decent sized unincorporated county island. So this would help to further shrink that county island and create a more consistent city boundary. So the recommendation was to approve from staff. The planning commission recommended approval and no opposition was heard during the public hearing.
If anyone has any questions of Ethan, this will just be a first reading. We will vote on this at the next council meeting. Any questions? Okay, item number 4, first reading ordinance 24-18, the request of John S. Suttles to rezone from heavy manufacturing M2 to rural residential R5, a tract of land totaling 0.7 acres located on New Doris Street, parcels 12-255-03-034, 12-255-03-047, and 12-255-03-057.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This rezoning is in order for the petitioner to divide the subject property for the development of some single-family dwellings. And because of the manufacturing zoning, that would not be possible without the rezoning that has been requested to rural residential. And when we look at this area along New Doris Street, there have been some rezonings around a year and a half ago for a very similar proposal with the same zoning. And based on the previous zoning ordinance that the city had before 2015, we see a lot of residential inside the manufacturing zoning district because of the old pyramid style zoning ordinance. And because of the unified zoning ordinance separating residential from manufacturing, that is what prompted this rezoning. based on the size of the property, based on the comprehensive plan in this area within a town neighborhood revitalization area. The proposed zoning and development is in direct alignment with the city's comprehensive plan and the majority of adjacent and nearby development along New Doris Street. So the staff recommendation was to approve. The rezoning hearing had no opposition, and the planning commission also unanimously recommended approval.
Again, this is a first reading. Does anyone have any questions of Ethan? Okay, we'll vote on this at our next council meeting. Item number 5, first reading ordinance 24-19, the request of Todd Phillips to rezone from medium density residential R3 to high density residential R7, a tract of land totaling 1.29 acres located on Main Street. Parcels 12-183-08-013, parcel 12-183-08-002, parcel 12-183-08-010, and parcel 12-183-08-011.
Thank you. The rezoning before us here was in order for the petitioner to develop the subject property. Currently stands, it is undeveloped and was previously part of a former subdivision plan. And due to the cost of creating a street up to city standards, created some financial issues for the developer. So they were requesting to go to high density residential in order to build multiple dwellings on a single tract of land, as opposed to having to subdivide and build a public street. Given the amount of R7 zoning in this area, the property is adjacent to multiple parcels zoned for high density residential. The subject property is also, the majority of it is within the medical district character area in the future development map in the comprehensive plan. And then within the medical district, high density residential and workforce housing to support the medical industry staffing that's nearby is a recommendation. And we've seen several similar type developments proposed in this area that do not appear to have any negative impacts and certainly would not create any spot zoning or anomalies on the zoning map, given the amount of high density residential in this area. Limited size of the subject property does limit overall density in terms of potential. But based on staff's understanding of the plan of the petitioner, the size of the property, and the existing zoning and comprehensive plan, we found no issues with the proposed rezoning and do recommend approval. The public hearing had no comments in opposition, and the planning commission recommended the rezoning be approved.
Quick question, when you said about didn't want to build it to city standards, so how would they access this?
They would have to build, it would be a private easement in order to access the property. So it wouldn't be, it wouldn't have the right of way or the curvilinear design of a standard street. It would be like sort of an apartment complex, the way you would build an entrance. Now, of course, anything that would be built would have to meet building code as far as accessibility and all other development codes. The street just wouldn't be deeded over to the city.
We certainly have an opportunity between now and the next meeting to do further due diligence. Are there any other questions of Ethan on this item? Okay. Item number 6, first reading ordinance 24-20, the request of Eric Rojo Aguilar to rezone from heavy manufacturing M2 to high density residential R7, a tract of land totaling 0.21 acres located at 204 East Matilda Street, parcel 12-200-05-008.
The rezoning before us was in another rezoning to rezone from heavy manufacturing to high density residential. Again, similar case under the former zoning ordinance, resulting in a number of residential properties being zoned for manufacturing use, which of course prohibit any sort of residential development or redevelopment in this case. And therefore the petitioner is requested to rezone this for the addition of a duplex dwelling to the subject property. Staff's original understanding was there would be one duplex, but there may be multiple buildings or leaving the existing building. And the staff analysis originally recommended an R6 rezoning based on the original understanding. But during the public hearing, that discovery was made, and both Gene and myself, staff, would recommend the R7 rezoning in this case. It is certainly an improvement from heavy manufacturing and would allow for similar use as to what we see in this area in terms of unit per acre density and residential development. So we didn't cite any issues with this property. And of course, any additional development on the subject property would be subject to meeting any setbacks, buffer requirements, and all of building codes, of course. The recommendation was to approve for R7. During the hearing heard no opposition, and the Planning Commission recommendation was a unanimous approval for R7.
And this wouldn't be a island because it's residential?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Since it is adjacent to the medium density residential zone district, we wouldn't consider this to be a spot zone or really even an entering wedge at this location because there's so much intensive commercial manufacturing development. This is sort of in between high intensity manufacturing and commercial, kind of creates that step down to that medium density residential. So we believe it's a good fit.
Any other questions of Ethan on this matter? Okay, we'll hear that one again at our next meeting. Thanks, Ethan.
Thank you.
Item number 7, we have 2 new 2024 alcohol beverage applications. Jesse?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. Before you, we have 2 applications for alcohol. The first one being the owner Famosa LLC, doing business as Famosa LLC. The applicant's name is Maria Maldonado Salcedo. The location address will be 700 Red Wine Street, Suite number 5. The type of license being applied for is pouring beer. This will be a new license. The second one will be business owner Crown Mill F&B LLC, doing business as the Spinning Room. The applicant's Nathan Kirkman. Location address will be 825 Chattanooga Avenue, Suite 6. And this one's adding a license addition for pouring liquor.
Is there a representative for either application here this evening? Hi, good evening. Thank you for coming tonight. Yes, does anyone have any questions of our applicant for the first alcohol license or of Jesse? Okay, thank you for doing business in the city of Dalton. We appreciate it. Can we do these together or separately? Okay, let's do the first one. I'll entertain a motion for approval for Famosa LLC.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 2, Crown Mill. This is an additional for pouring liquor. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Item number 8, School Resource Officer Contract with Dalton Public Schools for school year 24 through 25. Chief Kaysen?
Yes, ma'am. You'll notice that this is the renewal for the 2024-2025 school year for our SRO agreement with Dalton Public Schools. The agreement is for 7 officers to be provided at 75-25 reimbursement ratio and 1 at the 50-50. At this current time, they will actually have 7 SROs as this contract goes into effect, just because we had an officer leave that was an SRO recently. If you have any questions about this contract, I'll be happy to answer it for you, but otherwise I ask for your approval.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
refresh my memory why one of them is 50-50 and the other ones are 75-25.
It was not budgeted for in the school system's budget to do the 75%. And in our pledge and hope to be able to protect all schools, it was an opportunity for us to help and do, instead of doing our normal 25%, that we would do 50 for that one position until such time as next year they could properly budget for it. It was a pleasant surprise that we were able to honor it, and hopefully we'll be able to honor it. But right now it will have a 0 impact financially because it will not be realized. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Chief Cross.
Thank you.
Let's see. Item number 9, fiscal year 2024 budget amendment number 3. Cindy?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This budget amendment number 3 was presented to you during the Finance Committee prior to this Mayor and Council meeting. All of the funds actually have revenue or transfer in to cover any increase or decrease in the expenditures transfer out, except for the Capital Projects Fund, and we are increasing the revenue in that fund to $128,600 to cover interest income and sale of capital assets. And those funds have not been allocated yet. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Questions of Cindy?
Motion to approve.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 10, Andrew, Croy Engineering Task Order number 11 for runway pavement rehab bid services at the airport.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I have here Croy task order for runway bid services for the runway rehab project at the airport. If you recall, back in May, the Mayor and Council approved the tentative allocation for this project, which will include federal, state, and local funds. And this will fall under the umbrella of that project.
Any questions with Andrew? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Andrew, also number 11, Dalton Municipal Airport 5-year master service agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates.
So every 5 years, the FAA makes us do a 5-year consultant selection process. The Airport Authority has just completed that process, and they have selected Kimley Horn and Associates for the next 5 years, engineering and planning consultant at the airport. This master agreement will govern future task orders with the company over the next 5 years.
Any questions of Andrew on? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 12, landscape installation contract award to Keller Outdoor Inc. for 133 Huntington Road. Chad?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This agenda item is to award the landscape installation contract to Keller Outdoor Incorporated for the Huntington Road Stormwater Project. We received 4 competitive bids, and Keller Outdoor was the low bid at $98,318.80 and was approximately $28,000 under budget. Work is anticipated to be completed under this contract by the end of November, and this comes with a positive recommendation from the Public Works Committee.
Any questions of Chad?
Move we approve.
The motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Chad. Next, well, you have the next one as well. Item number 13, level 1A pipelining project contract award to Federal EC LLC.
So the level 1A pipelining contract is to restore the structural integrity and improve flow characteristics of degraded storm pipes under roads that if a failure was to occur, emergency access would be greatly hindered. Such roads as one-way streets or dead-end streets is kind of what we target under this contract. As part of this contract, we'll line roughly 3,100 feet of pipe at 46 different locations. We received a number of bids as part of this RFP, and Federal LLC not only scored the highest in the RFP rankings, but was the low bidder at $1,129,705, which is approximately $370,000 under contract, or under budget, I'm sorry. And this also comes with a positive recommendation from the Public Works Committee.
And how many locations does it stand to?
46 locations.
46.
Motion to approve.
Okay, the motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 14, and so I read this item. Note that it is eligible for SPOSS reimbursement. if Cindy's comfortable with how I've worded that for the, okay, she's not. Agreement for development of a mini pitch soccer field and disbursement of grant funds between City of Dalton Parks and Recreation Department and the Greater Dalton Chamber Foundation. Hey, Will?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So yes, this is a request for an agreement to be between the city and the chamber. On behalf of the city, Greater Dalton Chamber Foundation submitted a Georgia 100 program grant application to Atlanta United Foundation in partnership with the local initiative support corporations to install a mini pitch soccer field at the Matt Gaston Community Center. The grant is being provided to the grantee, the chamber, to create a mini pitch soccer field at the Matt Gaston Community Center. The area surrounding the Matt Gaston Community Center is a priority focus of neighborhood revitalization efforts that are being identified through BGD's revitalization strategy in partnership with the city of Dalton. There must be an established agreement between the city and the chamber to meet the grant distribution requirements.
Any questions of Will?
Mr. Chappell, could you tell us more about what a mini pitch soccer field is?
Yeah, so it'll be I believe it's 60 by 30 size soccer field, but how we're going to do it in other communities I've done this grant is kind of make it a little multi-purpose. It'll be asphalt with basketball rims above the goals. So it'll have the basketball and a soccer layout, and it'll be about the same size as the mini fields that are behind the John Davis. So it's kind of similar, but has the basketball element as well.
And forgive me if you've already stated this, but what is the city's financial responsibility?
I believe it is $103,300, and then the grant that we'll be receiving is $100,000.
Okay, and so that's the eligible SPOS reimbursement that we talked about. That's exciting. Thank you to the chamber. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I got a quick question. Will this be fenced in?
Yes, the playing area will be fenced in, and then the hope in the future is also add parking kind of in this back area as well.
Be great. Item number 15, intergovernmental ground lease agreement between the city and City of Dalton Board of Education for ROTC course.
Yes, this is a request for approval of intergovernmental ground lease agreement between the city and the City of Dalton Board of Education for Dalton Public School System to construct and maintain and use of a Reserve Officers Training Corps Challenge Course on the premise of 1275 Cross Plains Trail, Dalton, Georgia. That's our Heritage Point Park area. It'd be a 3-year agreement, and sort of the background in the shaded area, that's where the disc golf course was. That was decommissioned on July 1st. After the school system found out about the decommissioning, they came to us and requested to use this land as their ROTC course. They're moving their ROTC program to the Dalton Academy, so it will not be at Dalton High School anymore. And we felt like this would be a great way to use this trail system that's already existing. The school system will build, maintain, and hold the liability. And then if there's no scheduled ROTC practice or competition, it's open to the public. It won't be fenced in, gated, anything. It'll be used for the public to come out and use it.
Any questions of Will?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Mr. Pangle.
Yeah, next on the agenda will be the appointment. Sorry, I skipped one. Will be the appointment of Will Chappell as the interim Dalton Parks and Recreation Director upon the last day of Director Sharp's employment with the city. This does come with a full support of the Recreation Committee as well.
Are there any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Will, congratulations. Item number 17, the reappointment of Austin King to the Zoning Appeals Board for a 5-year term to expire August 5th, 2029. Mr. Pangle?
Yes, this is for the reappointment, as it says, of Austin King. He currently serves on the Zoning Appeals Board. This will be for another 5-year term set to expire on August the 5th, 2029.
There are no questions. All in favor?
Motion.
Excuse me. I'll entertain a motion first on this one.
Approve. Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 18. This is I have presently served as the liaison to the Public Safety Commission. So this is for the appointment to be a member of the Public Safety Commission for the remainder of this year for a term to expire December 31st, 2024. Jonathan, if you will make sure I'm presenting this correctly, but due to our charter change, the charter now reflects that the Public Safety Commission will be comprised of a 5-person board, and one of those members will be a present council member. Yes?
That's correct.
So this will be a voting position, as where previously I've served as a liaison. So for continuity purposes, I'm appointing myself for to serve out the rest of this year, but in a board position and not as the liaison. So I'll put that in the form of a motion.
So
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. There is no supplemental business or announcements. If there's nothing else before this body,
You have something to?
I'll entertain them.
We already amended the agenda or
We
whatever.
did in the beginning, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming this evening.
Whatever we amend.
Yay.
Doing okay?
I'm doing.